Many children are labeled with the same words: too sensitive, too emotional, too dramatic. And over time, people start calling it personality. But what if it's not personality at all? What if your child's brain and nervous system are simply experiencing the world differently? Why do some children get overwhelmed so easily, react more intensely, or struggle with things that seem simple for other kids? Is it just who they are? Or is something deeper happening inside their brain? In this video, we're going to explore the surprising difference between personality and a nervous system that works differently. Because when we misunderstand the nervous system, we often misunderstand the child. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is assuming that a child's behavior is simply a reflection of their personality. If a child cries easily, we call them sensitive. If they react strongly, we call them dramatic. If they struggle with change, we say they are stubborn or difficult. But children don't experience the world the same way adults do. Their brains are still developing. Their emotional regulation systems are still forming. And most importantly, their nervous systems are constantly trying to interpret and respond to the environment around them. For some children, that system is naturally more sensitive. Sounds feel louder, emotions feel stronger, stress arrives faster. So what looks like a personality trait may actually be the nervous system working overtime to process the world. And when we misunderstand that difference, we risk responding to the child in ways that don't actually help them regulate or feel safe. To understand this better, we need to talk about the nervous system. The nervous system is the part of the body responsible for detecting what is happening around us and deciding how we should respond. It constantly asks one very important question: am I safe right now? For adults, this system is more developed. We can filter noise, manage stress, and regulate our emotions more easily. But for children, this system is still learning. Their brain is constantly scanning the environment for signals of safety or danger. And for some children, that alarm system is naturally more sensitive. A loud room may feel overwhelming. A sudden change in plans may feel threatening. A small disappointment may trigger a very big emotional response. Not because the child is trying to be difficult, but because their nervous system is reacting as if something important is happening. In other words, the behavior we see on the outside is often the nervous system trying to protect the child on the inside. So how can a parent begin to tell the difference? How do you know if something is simply a personality trait or if your child's nervous system is responding to the world in a more sensitive way? There are a few common patterns that often appear in children with highly reactive nervous systems. The first sign is sensory overwhelm. Some children become easily overwhelmed by things that don't seem to bother others. Loud noises, bright lights, crowded spaces, or even certain textures can quickly push their nervous system into stress. What might feel like a normal environment for one child can feel extremely intense for another. And when that happens, the nervous system may react with anxiety, shutdown, or a sudden emotional outburst. The second sign is very strong emotional reactions. These children often feel emotions deeply. A small frustration might quickly turn into tears. A minor disappointment can feel like a huge loss. From the outside, it can look like the child is overreacting. But inside their body, their nervous system may already be in a state of overwhelm. The third sign is difficulty with transitions. Many children with sensitive nervous systems struggle when something changes suddenly. Moving from playtime to bedtime, leaving the house, or switching from one activity to another. For some children, these transitions feel abrupt and stressful to the nervous system. Their brain needs more time to shift from one state to another. And when that shift happens too quickly, the nervous system can react with resistance, frustration, or emotional shutdown. From the outside, it may look like stubbornness, but often it's simply the nervous system trying to catch up with what's happening. The fourth sign is something many parents don't expect. These children often show very deep empathy or intense focus. They may be extremely aware of other people's emotions. They notice small changes in tone, facial expressions, or mood. Some of them also develop powerful interests, focusing intensely on topics they care about. These traits can actually become incredible strengths later in life. But in childhood, they often come with a nervous system that feels the world more deeply than most. When parents begin to understand the role of the nervous system, something very important changes. They stop seeing the child as too sensitive, too dramatic, or too difficult. And they begin to see a child whose brain is simply processing the world differently. A sensitive nervous system is not a flaw. It doesn't mean something is wrong with your child. In many cases, it means your child experiences the world with greater emotional depth, stronger awareness, and a heightened sensitivity to their environment. But children with sensitive nervous systems often need something different from the adults around them. They need co-regulation before correction. They need support learning how to calm their nervous system when it becomes overwhelmed. And most importantly, they need adults who understand that their reactions are not about misbehavior. They are about regulation. When we shift our perspective in this way, the goal stops being to change the child's personality. Instead, the goal becomes helping their nervous system feel safe enough to grow, adapt, and learn. The truth is, every child is born with a unique nervous system. Some children move through the world calmly and easily. Others experience the world with much more intensity, more sound, more emotion, more stimulation. And when we don't understand that difference, it's easy to assume something is wrong with the child. But often nothing is wrong. Their brain is simply wired to experience the world in a deeper and more sensitive way. And when parents begin to understand the nervous system, something powerful happens. Instead of trying to change the child, they begin to support the child. They learn how to create safety, predictability, and emotional regulation. And over time, that understanding can completely transform the relationship between a parent and a child. Because sometimes the most important shift is not changing the child's behavior. It's changing the way we see what that behavior really means.